Hannibal. Alright, this is Season 3, Episode 9 of Hannibal. Its title is And the Woman Clothed with the Sun. Let's do it.
Did you read it before you destroyed it? Or did you simply toss it into the nearest fire?
He knows you too well.
I gave you a chance, if you recall.
They are so like divorced daddies. Abigail just keeps coming back. It's a lot of blood he took from her.
Are you ready to die, Abigail?
Yes.
I love their weird freaking relationship. See, I like Alana, and I'm like, it's cool she's with Margot, but I really wanted Alana and Will to get together. Ah, the stag dude's back. Ooh, naked, bloody Will. I'm okay with that. Booty. Freddie Lounge. Why is Alana dressed like she's gonna go shoot an album cover or something?
I love a good finger wagging.
Heyo.
Yes, you do. So is Margot.
Oh!
My father cut my throat.
Out of love.
You know, as you do. What the heck's going on? That dead actor dude's getting a lot of mileage out of that, like, beginning killed season 1 kind of thing. What is going on, bro? This is some nasty, crazy stuff. Oh, he got a tail. Red Dragon got his tail.
Okay, seems like you're more upset about the cat than you were about the children, but I'm particularly fond of cats. I'm not particularly fond of children. That leads this dog.
True.
I died for you in your castle.
You didn't die enough. You
Burn.
Covered your junk with a black box. A big black box.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
called us.
It's not just Freddy that's called them murder husbands. Like, all of Tumblr is called them murder husbands.
Thank you. I take the bus all the time. You don't need to worry about me.
Don't go home with strangers.
For my pleasure.
Don't do it. Don't do. I've seen the movies. Don't do it.
Come in. And I'll give you a drink.
Girl, you're being too forward. You don't know him.
But I hope that you do talk because you can and because I'm interested in what you have to say.
You're such a nice lady, but you got a crazy guy in your house.
I'm feeling randy.
Okay.
Ray's got huge balls. He has to retract them when he runs. Can you retract yours?
What is going on?
I don't have a criminal mind.
Yeah, you do. I love Will's crazy dreams. I also like it when he wakes up covered in sweat and his shirt's sticking to him, but that's for different reasons. Oh, cracking apart, dude.
Yes, I read your note before my office forwarded it to me.
Aw, you are shady, Jack.
Now you're going to hunt with me.
Yeah. Poor Abigail, one effed up family right to the next.
What are you becoming?
Yeah. Okay, I'm kind of digging this episode and this kind of like string of episodes because it's so much of the movies thrown in, and it's in its own unique kind of like Hannibal TV show kind of way, but it's just like so many line for line things from the movie, and it's just so cool to see it reimagined this way. Picks up right where the last episode left off, where Will's going to talk to Hannibal. He does all the lines about like knowing his aftershave and like a kid would pick it and all these things. Hannibal's kind of upset. He's like, "You're not calling me by my first name anymore. I thought we were bros." Will's like, "No, man, you're kind of creepy. I want to keep my distance." Hannibal mentions, "Oh, I sent you that letter telling you not to come. Did you get it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did. I still came." Will's like, "I'm here because of that dude who's killing people. Are you going to help me with it?" And they kind of banter with it. And Hannibal's like, "Yeah, come on. Give me the thing. I'll help you with it." Then it shows back when Hannibal is with Abigail and she's like agreeing to kind of go along with it. It was that whole thing where he like had her for a long time and you didn't really know about it until later. But it's kind of filling in the gaps of what was happening then. They do things like take her blood to get ready so they can like splash it around. He talks about taking a piece of her flesh, you know, for later, like the ear thing, you know. So it's creepy. They're like a weird, happy, crazy family. They do this kind of cool thing where they like just drained a bunch of her blood into this jar and then she holds this little thing against her neck and he does the movement of like cutting her throat and she splashes her blood and he's like, "There you go, you're dead." Then it shows Will with Alana and they kind of just talk in this weird, awkward kind of catching up thing they do. Alana mentioned she's still with Margot and that they have a baby that Alana carried, so she has a son who's like the heir to the Verger thing. Alana's like, you know, this is gonna get crazy again. I have the keys that, like, keep all the doors locked to keep Hannibal in, but I'm worried about you and all this stuff. And Will's like, nah, don't worry about me. Then another thing I like about this episode, and it kind of plays into the whole thing that Hannibal and Will kind of create this own world that they live in, is when Hannibal is, like, looking at the paperwork and they're, like, kind of going over the case, all the settings that you see them in are, like, they're in the victim's house, they're in the victim's yard, like, everything they're talking about is this world that they see themselves in, which is another cool, very stylized thing about the show that I freaking love. They talk about how this guy is picking these families, and he's like, well, Will, how'd you pick your family? And he mentions, you know, you kind of had a pre-made family. You had a wife and a kid just there for you. You know you don't want to pass on any of these perceived crazy things about you, and it's kind of comforting to have this family already made. That's how this guy is picking these people. Then Hannibal also mentions, he's like, why are there no descriptions of the yard? Because, like, if this guy's connected to the moon, he's going to be, like, naked and covered in blood, and he might want to go look at the moon after killing these people, so it's going to be an area that's somewhat secluded so the neighbors don't see him. And then Will has this kind of, like, freak out where he's the one standing there naked, covered in blood, looking at the moon, and he got booty. And then it shows as Will's leaving where Hannibal is, Freddy lounges in the bushes, like, taking pictures. I love that girl. She crazy and a jerk, but I love her. And then it shows Alana go talk to Hannibal, and she's like, hey, what's your deal? Why are you messing with Will Graham again? Hannibal's like, you don't think I have his best interest at heart. And she's like, I know you don't. She's like, look, we play kind of nice. I treat you with respect. You do this, whatever. I can just take all your decency away. I can take your comfort. You'll be, like, totally disrespected. You won't have any books. You won't have any paintings. You won't have anything. I'll take your freaking toilet. You better play right. And then it gets weird. Like, in one of those flashbacks of things with Abigail and Hannibal, he has her, like, blindfolded, and he's like, you know, he's really good at smelling things. So he's like, smell some things. And she smells the hunting knife of her dad. She's like, that's something my dad made. He made it out of bone. Hannibal starts telling her, like, your dad loved you. And she's like, he cut my throat. And he's like, that's his kind of love. He starts talking about how, like, love is different and allow yourself to, like, love your father the same way he loved you and weird stuff like that. And then he takes her blindfold off, and her dad is sitting across from her dead. And it's like, Hannibal, where'd you get him? He's like, love your father the same way he loved you. And she runs up and just, like, slits his throat, and, like, the creepy, like, embalming fluid or something starts pouring out, and it's nasty. And then he's like, there you go, you cut his throat. Never be ashamed of who you are. And it's like, dude, you're crazy. Then there's this weird little cut of, like, this kid sitting at a table with a bunch of old people. And then it kind of pans up from little kid's feet to the red dragon dude, and he's sitting there. And then it's, like, his weird projections of, like, the crime scenes, and he's kind of going nutty. Then it shows Will with a tablet, and he's watching, like, home video from the family that got killed, and he sees that they have, like, a cat, and he's, like, looking at them, like, and he pictures he's being there, and he sees them, and they're all happy. Then it keeps cutting with Red Dragon Dude watching his projection thing, and he's just freaking out, and then he starts, like, grabbing his neck and back, and then you see, like, this creepy dragon tail coming out behind him. Then it shows that cat, and it was, like, buried because it got strangled, and then they're like, oh, the other family's dog got, like, stabbed. So there's all these things, and we're assuming now that he is, like, hurting or killing the animals, both to just be a jerk mixed with kind of like an early alert system. Like, you can't go kill someone when their dog's there. It might alert someone. Will's like, we gotta send out, like, a private thing to all vets if there's any, like, mutilated animals. And Jack's like, dude, they're, like, distances apart, and there was nothing even connecting these families. And Will's like, there was something. They were happy. Then Will's, like, in the yard of that family that got killed, and he's kind of just walking around, and he sees this area where some limbs have been cut, and there's, like, a little, like, stump you can sit on, and he sees, like, a direct eye line to the house, and he's like, oh, I've sat here before. I'm the killer dude. And then on the tree, there's, like, a little symbol carved, and so after he sees all that and, like, grabs some stuff, he starts walking out, and then there's Freddy Lounge there. Freddy's like, hey, what's up? What are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? And then he calls her out for stuff like pulling back his bed sheet and taking pictures of his stomach wounds, which was almost line for line from the movie. Then she brings up that Hannibal is, like, under the care of Alana, and Alana kind of made out really good after that whole, like, Verger tragedy thing. So she's doing her basic, like, snooping and expose stuff, and she's like, dude, you might need my help, because this killer might be, like, a huge narcissist, and you can use my paper, we can help each other. And he's like, nah, girl. Then it shows the Red Dragon Dude, and he's looking at Freddy's paper, and he sees Will Graham, and he's like, Will Graham. Then he goes to, like, this place where they develop film, and there's the blind chick, and he, like, asks her for, like, film that's very, very light sensitive for, like, super dark things. He claims he's gonna go film nocturnal animals at the zoo, and she's like, yeah, I'll help you out, I can do it. Then afterwards, when he's driving away, he sees the blind chick at the bus stop, and he's like, hey, I'll give you a ride. And she's like, oh, no, I don't need help. It's fine. He's like, no, I want to take you for my pleasure, which is already creepy. Don't get in the car with the dude. She gets in the car with him. He drives her home. She invites him in because she's stupid. She talks about where she worked before. They kind of chat a little bit, and then she brings up working with kids who like speech impediments and like hearing problems, and then he gets really quiet and just shuts down. She's like, okay, I noticed you haven't been talking since I mentioned speech impediments, and I want you to know I understand you because you speak very well, and I like you because you don't pity me. I'm not going to pity you, that kind of thing. Then she does the thing where she tries to touch his face, and she's like, I just want to know if you're smiling, and he grabs her hand and is like, trust me, I'm smiling. Then later, Hannibal's at his hotel room, and he calls his wife, and she's just talking about the dog that she's rescued, and he's like, oh yeah, I rescued the dead family's dog because no one would claim it. They have a kind of cute conversation back and forth. She mentions like him having a criminal mind when he mentioned something as a kid he did, and he's like, I don't have a criminal mind, and she's like, it's okay, baby, I'm gonna be here for you. Then he has one of his creepy dreams of like the dead chick on the bed, and it's like his wife, and he wakes up all sweaty and gross. He runs to the bathroom, and as he's looking in the mirror, he sees like himself fracturing and pieces falling apart. Then it cuts to Jack going in to visit Hannibal, and Hannibal's kind of like picking his brain, you know how he normally does. He mentions, I sent a letter to Will telling him not to come, and Jack's like, I know, I read it, and then I had my office forward it to him. Jack is shady, alright? He does some shady crap. Hannibal's like, you know what, it'd be more honest and direct if you just ate his brain out of his head, dude, seriously. Hannibal's basically like, Jack, you being shady, and Jack's like, I know, but Will works better with you in his head, so let's just do it that way. Hannibal seems to be, like, genuinely concerned for Will, at least for the fact that he wants to be the one messing with Will. He doesn't want Jack to also do it. So he kind of, like, warns him. He's like, how much more can Will take? And then Jack's like, whatever, and just leaves. Then it flashes back to when Will made the call to Hannibal to let him know that they knew he was the killer. And so you see that Abigail is in the kitchen with him, and he's like, Abigail, go upstairs. They're coming to get us. We're going to wait for Will, but we got to be ready because people are coming. She's like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, well, you said you really enjoyed hunting with your father, so now you're going to hunt with me. Then it shows Hannibal in his cell, and this lady comes in and brings a phone, and she's like, it's your attorney, and puts the phone through. Hannibal takes the phone, he's like, hey, what's up? And the dude's like, I'm not your attorney. I'm that crazy killer dude, but you seem super cool, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't rat me out, because I'm turning into something really cool. And he's like, well, what are you turning into? And he's like, I am the Great Red Dragon. And then credits. I mean, Hannibal's pretty legit and he can deal with a lot of crap, but someone gets a phone call like that, you're going to be a little unnerved. So it was a cool episode. Like I said, it's really cool to kind of see the way that they adapt it for the small screen, but you still get to keep so many cool things from the movie. It's got a really cool spirit of the movie with its own little twist on it, and it's really cool to see, like, scene for scene, line for line, some things, like, directly taken from the book and the movie. Pretty cool. So what do you guys think? If I left anything out or forgot anything, you guys want to comment on anything? Drop a comment. Don't forget to do the things. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Until next time.